Violet Hill from the album Viva La Vida, or Death and All His Friends. Interesting title that is right there. Okay, this morning I am joined by a very interesting person. He is going to be with us.
I'm doing great, thanks.
Good. Of course, I'm speaking with Christopher Wurst, who is the Public Affairs Officer at the United States Embassy. How's everything going this morning?
Things are going great.
Okay.
Happy to be here.
Fantastic. You have been in Zambia for how many years?
For 3 years, almost 3 years.
Okay. All right. And in the same capacity as Public Affairs Officer at the U.S. Embassy?
Yeah, that's right.
And we understand that you are winding down. It's been a great 3-year journey, but this is your last week in the country?
Yeah, I have only 1 week left, which is, I'm still trying to wrap my mind around that, but it's been an amazing 3 years. It feels like it's been about 3 weeks, or maybe 3 days, because we hit the ground running, and we've been busy ever since, but it's been an amazing time here. I've had the opportunity to see the entire country, travel to every province, meet many people.
Fantastic.
What a time.
Fantastic. What exactly does your job entail as a public affairs officer? What is behind the nice title? I love it. What exactly do you do?
I wear a number of hats. I'm the embassy spokesperson for one, so I work a lot with the media, put out press releases, make statements on behalf of the embassy. We do education programs. We oversee the Fulbright Scholarship Program, the Humphrey Scholarship Program. We do education advising for Zambians that want to go to school in the United States. We do a lot of cultural programs. We bring people from the United States to Zambia. Recently, we brought 3 hip-hop dancers, the Clowns from L.A., to do some dance programs. We work with musicians. We did a song called Change We Can Believe In, which I believe your station has played in celebration of Obama's victory. We do programs with theater, programs with television and film. We had some journalists that went to the United States and did a program on HIV and AIDS that showed on television here. We do programs on things like media, Freedom of Information Act, for instance, something that we feel very strongly about. Programs on governance, programs on... So we do, we're very busy.
Okay. It's clearly. I do get the impression, though, that your job seems to be... as challenging as it is, it seems that you get the opportunity to let the crump dancers that you brought in a couple of weeks ago, as opposed to what the kind of stuffy kind of perception that we might have of the diplomatic service. What could you say about that?
I think you're exactly right. I have the fun job in the embassy. I get to hang out with rock and roll musicians sometimes, and we had a party last week, Chargé d'Affaires' house, and so a bunch of musicians came and played, and just it was a free for all jam. So, no, I have the supreme luxury of getting to know people in Zambia from all different fields with so much talent, and there's so much talent here. So to meet musicians and hear them do their thing, to meet educators that are passionate about what they do and be able to work with them, to meet journalists like yourself who are out chasing stories and out trying to tell the truth about what's going on in Zambia. I consider myself very, very lucky. I think I learn more from the people that I work with here in Zambia than I teach, but it's wonderful. I'm very lucky.
Cool. How exactly does one get into the diplomatic service?
It's tough. To get into the diplomatic corps in the United States, you have to go through a pretty rigorous process. You have to start by passing a written test. They just gave the written test online last week, and tens of thousands, maybe more than 100,000 people took the test. And of that, only a few thousand will make it. So maybe 2,000 people will pass the written test, and then if you pass that, you have to go through an oral process, you have to go through a long interview, you have to go through a security background and a medical background and all of these things, and it might take a year or more to get in. So it's pretty rigorous, but then once you're in, you've got like the greatest job in the world.
Nice. Is this your first assignment?
It's not, no. I actually took the test. I was a teacher in South Africa, so I've spent, I think I figured it was 6 of the last 11 years in Africa. So it's tough for me to leave Africa. My first assignment was in Guatemala in Central America. And then
how long ago was this?
2002. And then I went to India, in southern India, in Chennai, and worked as a public affairs officer there before coming to Zambia. I think it had been my goal all along to get back to Africa, because once you're here, it sort of gets in your blood, and the music and the people and the friendly culture, and to say nothing of the weather in Zambia.
True. So, as widely traveled as you are, and having visited more provinces than I have, despite me being, Zambian by birth and lived here most of my life. How much of a linguist are you?
Oh, not too much. I'm learning how to say thank you in many different places.
Okay.
So I can go to the west and say Nitumezi. I can go to the northwest and say Tuna Sakwalila. But don't push me far beyond that.
Fair enough. Okay. So you have indeed managed to visit all 9 provinces. Which was the most memorable for you?
Oh, I can't say. I'm not going to choose one, but they're all. I've had remarkable experiences at all, and it just shows how diverse the country is. Western province is unlike any province anywhere else in Zambia. It's very remote with the sand and the floodplain. It's very unique. I got caught out in the middle of the floodplain in Lakulu with the district commissioner. So for an hour and a half, I was standing in the middle of nowhere, walking through the sand. I won't forget that soon. Northwestern province, also very remote, off the electrical grid. So there's a lot of people that are really struggling to make it there, but doing amazing things given the handicaps that they have. Was lucky to bring back a huge thing of kabampo honey, so I was very happy about that. We were up in Luapula in the rainy season, went all the way up to the top of the country in Manunga, and that was amazing and very unique. Eastern Province, we had a wonderful time in Eastern Province visiting Peace Corps volunteers and seeing fish farming projects and seeing some of the things up there, and had the unique ability to stay in the castle in Lundazi, which everyone should maybe have that experience.
True.
So which part are you from?
Myself personally, my father is from Luapula, and my mother's from Choma in the south.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've got that
north-south.
That's right.
Got the whole corridor thing going.
Exactly. Fantastic stuff. Okay. Where exactly? Okay, how much do you think this country has changed from the time this 3 years ago? That was in 2006. How much has Zambia changed, or if it's changed at all? What are your observations in the 3 years that you've been here?
Well, I mean, as I'm sitting here, people can't see it, but I'm looking at the website for QFM that's going to launch. I should probably am I letting secrets go? I'm sorry.
You are, as long as you don't say the URL.
Okay.
It's fine,
okay.
But you can talk about it real quick.
But
if you want to.
I mean, the technology is coming. I mean, technology's here. People are using social networking sites. People are using the SMS on their phones. People are, really more sophisticated in the way that they're communicating with each other, and that's exciting. Facebook, I understand Q has a great Facebook page. I know the embassy at U.S. Embassy Lusaka has a great Facebook page as well. I've been here through 2 presidential elections. I've seen a lot of political change. In some ways, the more things change, the more things stay the same, because I still look at the paper every day and see that some politician is yelling at another politician, and perhaps some of the good stories aren't being covered because we're seeing a lot of that. But no, I think that the way that the country is interconnected, it's stronger when everyone knows what everyone else is doing, and I think that there definitely are more movement towards interconnectedness than when I came.
Was it much of a culture clash? Your first when you just came in? Okay, because you did say that you spent some time in South Africa, but it is, to be very honest, quite a different experience. South Africa and Zambia. How difficult was it to assimilate into, the Zambian way of things?
It wasn't, to be honest. You're right. I mean, South Africa and Zambia are two very different places. But and if you throw in India, where I had been in between, when you go out in India, you're suddenly surrounded by 100,000 people, no matter where you are or what time it is. And so I was working at Comesa when I first came, and I had a long commute to Comesa every morning, and the traffic was really bad. But ultimately, the traffic was never as bad as it was in India, because there weren't cows wandering through the streets and things like that. Maybe an occasional chicken. But what I loved about South Africa, and when I talk about Africa getting in your skin, it's just the friendliness. So you can have your car parked at the Robot, and people will cross the street, and if you make eye contact, they'll wave to you. And I find the same here. So in that sense, I didn't have a real culture clash. I mean, I felt like I knew what I was getting into, and I was happy to be here.
Great stuff. Okay, let's take a quick commercial break. We'll be back on the flip side.